the upcoming battle between Godzilla and King Kong, you know there are going to be a bunch of massive blows, bone-crunching bites, and some interesting weaponry in the form of Godzilla's atomic blast and Kong's new battle axe. But what if there's more? If you have stayed involved in the monster community over the last few years, you would likely have seen by now just how many people really don't think Kong has any chance in this fight with the G-Man, at least naturally. The new axe, which you can learn more about in this video right here, will definitely help even the odds, and there is still the possibility that Kong will gain some sort of electrical powers like in the two monsters' original showdown way back in the 60s. But what if I told you that Kong's most deadly weapon could be living and breathing? Just like how dogs have become man's best friend after their ancestors, the wolves, became domesticated after countless millenniums of battles between the two species, could the Skullcrawlers follow this path and learn to be Kong's pet? It may sound far-fetched, but after this video your opinion may change. So let's not waste any more time, let's get to it. So to first find out how Kong would be able to domesticate the ravenous Skullcrawlers, we need to look at the big, broad story of Godzilla vs. Kong. While the title implies that it will be only Kong and Godzilla fighting, we now know that there will be other monsters involved like Warbat and yep, the Skullcrawlers. See, it's not just a one-on-one fight, this is an all-out monster war. This alone will at the very least support the theory that Kong may domesticate a few Skullcrawlers to aid him in this epic battle with the G-Man. Thanks to this amazing art done by DOPEPOPE, we can now see this theory come to life. Using chains likely coming from anchors of massive warships, King Kong is able to control the beasts like they were his very own attack dogs. Now some of you may be saying, how in the hell could these Skullcrawlers ever be domesticated after being shown as ruthless, savage killers, without any thought or sympathy for their actions? Well, let's go back to ancient men and their relationship with wolves. Back in those times, before the two species began to live side by side, they fought over kills, hunting land, and their right to exist. It wasn't until some wolves decided to stay near human camps, eating the scraps left over by us, and slowly we people were able to accept these animals who were likely considered ruthless and savage into our homes. But these Skullcrawlers aren't your family's cute little lab puppy, and I really don't think Kong's over here throwing them scraps. These Skullcrawlers are still extremely dangerous, just like wolves, and it would take a lot for them to listen to Kong. But the relationship of mankind and canines gives evidence to support this theory could happen in a make-believe world. So now that we have shown how a relationship of sorts happening isn't all that unlikely, how would the Skullcrawlers actually help Kong in his battle against the mighty king of the monsters? The first and most useful of the advantages Kong gains from this alliance is the distraction the Skullcrawlers would create. Imagine Godzilla having to focus on Kong, staring him dead in the eye. And then all of a sudden a Skullcrawler lashes out from the right, and then another from the left, and maybe even more beasts swarm Godzilla from all directions. This would distract the big G-Man and allow Kong to come in for a massively effective strike with his fists, legs, and axe. We know the G-Man would crush the Skullcrawlers. But even if he managed to get them off of him, the thought of their surprise attacks coming in at any time would slow Godzilla's ability to strategize effectively against Kong. Let's say an average-sized dog tried to attack you. You could probably hold it off enough to come out on top with just a few bites and wounds. Now imagine 3 of them coming at you at once. One is pulling your arm, while another grabs your legs, and the last one goes for your throat. It's not a pretty thought, but it's how it could go down. And the same could be said for Godzilla. We know the G-Man is damn near unstoppable 1v1, but he has already shown that taking on multiple opponents at the same time is not his strong suit. So with a 3v1 scenario, Kong's chances of defeating Godzilla, who is a much more sturdy and naturally gifted monster, becomes much greater. And then of course you have this last very important factor. I'll let this character from the Halo video game franchise give you a hint. Nothing like the elite or brute warriors in Halo using the lowly grunts as suicidal weapons. And this same situation could easily happen with Kong and the Skullcrawlers. Kong wouldn't have any concern for the well-being of his Skullcrawler pets, they killed his entire species after all. If the wolf comparison wasn't enough for you earlier, maybe this next one will hit more home. In the early days of the Walking Dead TV show, the character Michonne used 2 zombies as a way of getting around and surviving in a world full of flesh-hungry monsters. After she took away their ability to attack and harm her, the zombies became docile towards her and in a way domesticated. Using 2 chains, she was able to control them and pretty much do anything she wanted. In the end though, she killed them when it meant saving her own skin. Kong could do this exact thing, break the Skullcrawlers to his will, chain them so he has the control, and then when it was necessary, he could send them off to their deaths in hopes of helping his own goals. Godzilla could kill one Skullcrawler and then catch an axe to the forehead while he was unprepared for the strike from Kong. When you don't have to fear for the survival of your biological weapons, it makes them even more useful. The only question left is, will this actually happen? The answer to that is unknown. But with the Skullcrawlers being confirmed, along with us knowing that Kong will use clever weaponry in order to even the odds against the king of the monsters, I see no reason why this theory couldn't happen. But residents, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to stay notified. If you have any other Godzilla vs. Kong or Monsterverse theories, make sure and let us know about them as well down below. I want to give a massive thanks to the DOPEPOPE for inspiring this idea, and please go check out his art, which I'll leave links to that down below. Alright residents, before this video ends, the other day I asked you guys over on our community tab to ask me a question, and then I'd answer it at the end of this video, so here we are, and the lucky resident who I'm going to answer their question today is DinoBoy27. What's up, Dino Boy? So you asked, when did you guys, Alistair and I, start YouTube? So this is a really interesting thing to be able to tell you guys. So way back in 2013, I became a writer for a channel called Halo Follower. Now, whether you like them or not, it was a pretty big deal back then for me. It was while I was in college, and I discovered that I liked writing scripts and articles, so I kind of rolled with it. After a while, I worked my way up the ranks, and I was able to ask people to join the channel and help make content for it, and Alistair was one of these people that I found because he liked to put way too much effort into all this nerdy Halo stuff on random comments. I just would see him, I don't know, just writing like a paragraph about his opinion, and I was like, maybe I should ask this guy if he wants to come make some Halo content. So from there on out, we discovered that we liked other things other than the video game Halo, that be dinosaurs, Godzilla, King Kong, giant monsters, and just stuff with scales and big deadly teeth and claws. So that's how we got into Dangerville, and then we rolled with that for a while. We actually made some Middle-earth content in the beginning. That's what we wanted to do originally with the channel, was like Middle-earth content with Godzilla, some dinosaur stuff, Jurassic Park. It was going to be all over the place, but YouTube kind of just wants you to talk about just a couple things if you want to have, you know, consistent views. At least that's from our experience, and so we kind of dropped that. But yeah, that's pretty much the really quick summed up answer to the question of when did you guys start YouTube. Thank you all once again for sticking with us, and I hope you are living your best lives. As always, this has been Jacob, and peace out.